This is the Pinemen.
Hello, everyone. Little mistake on
Oh,
that scene transition there, but hey, you know,
beautiful.
we'll get rid of that in post, you know.
Hell yeah.
And so welcome to episode 11, I believe, of the
Hell
Pine
yeah.
Men.
Good. That's a good number. 1-1.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, firmly in double digits.
Yeah. We're really in there now.
Yep.
We missed last week, but that's okay. I was supposed to be in New York this week, but that didn't go my way. I finally got it.
Oh yeah. Yep. We were just talking. Eric is a COVID boy now.
Yeah. I've joined the club. I didn't think I would, but
Yeah.
I waited long enough. It's just like me, Got to just get it in at the end. I'm like, I'll try it.
Yeah. Why not? It's a good experience. Actually, well,
Yeah.
to be totally honest, when I had it, it was kind of fun. Not fun, but like I hated having it. You know, don't get me wrong, and I
Yeah.
complained about it, talked about the loss of taste and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just feeling like when you don't have responsibilities or that many responsibilities, and then you have something where it's just kind of like I kind of can't really like do that. You know, I just my obligation right now is to stay home and not go around and do stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of
And
like
you're
a
like,
little
"Oh,
mini
great."
break. It's like, all right, I'm going to dedicate 2 weeks to just like doing whatever the hell I feel like doing, you know? I don't
Yeah.
know. That's kind of a bad way to look
I
at it, I guess, but
Yeah. No, but I mean, yeah, I know what you mean though. When you get sick, it feels like, kind of like I don't need to worrying about stuff today because I'm
that's
not feeling good.
that's pretty much what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like when when you get sick when you're in school and you like are like, "Oh, I guess I'm just going to stay home and watch TV all day or whatever," you know?
Yeah. The worst is when you actually feel really, really, really terrible and then you can't even enjoy watching TV.
Oh yeah. Well, that was horrible.
Yeah.
And to be totally honest, for the first couple days of COVID, it was kind of like that. I just slept like nonstop, pretty much, because I just felt
Yeah.
like total garbage.
That was my first hint. I mean, like just not being able to like sleeping for a very long time. I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on? This is not good. Shouldn't be sleeping for like over 12 hours.
Yeah, I could definitely relate. But yeah,
Mm.
sorry to hear that you're experiencing that. You know.
Yeah, but I've heard that there's been some world news taking place.
Oh yeah, big time.
Dear
And it's the
God.
most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. Well, one of them. Sadly, this type of thing happens more often than it should, because it should never happen. But specifically here, it's just so crazy.
Indeed. I can't believe that, well, for all of those who don't know, Russia and Ukraine are, having some sort of disagreement.
Yeah, Russia has offensively invaded Ukraine in 2022 to do some medium to light to medium imperialism, just because you gotta. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's the only
Yeah.
reason, pretty much. I mean, that's the only logical reason, if you want to call it that. But no,
Uh,
actually, it's truly for the denazification of the region,
I know.
which
That
is
that was interesting.
the most absurd
Yeah.
argument I've ever heard in my life. As
Yeah.
not that this makes you, this automatically, I guess, doesn't say anything about it, but the president of Ukraine, democratically elected president, is Jewish, fully
Yeah.
comes from full Jewish background. Yeah, so that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I mean, the Nazi thing was the first time I heard about it was after the invasion already took place,
Oh yeah,
and it's interesting to say the least. It made me think about a lot of stuff, like, um, because obviously, like, I'm sure that there are far right people in the Ukraine. Sure.
yeah, like there are everywhere.
Yeah. And So I know that in like the Donbass.
Something like that. Yeah,
Uh, yeah, that there's been like they've been having conflict there for over 8 years.
yeah,
Like fighting Nazis there. That's what's right. That's what they've been doing.
yeah. That's what they're saying. That well,
The propaganda around this is so stressful because, I mean, the propaganda around everything nowadays is so stressful. But like, it genuinely feels like even with this, it's like I'm not exactly sure what's true on both sides, and I'm not saying that like, you know, what's like that there isn't war happening or anything like
right.
that. But like you even there's you could just feel the propaganda in the air no matter where you look, whether it's like I already forgot his name, the president of Ukraine,
Yeah,
Zelensky.
Zelensky.
Zelensky, yeah. Being like basically became like a mythologized
Yeah,
as this like true leader. Which, yeah, sure. I mean, I think it's really great that he decided to stay in the country that he was elected to be president of and fight off the invasion of Russian troops.
yeah,
And you know the wild thing that the mayor of Kiev too is like a ex like UFC guy
yeah. He was a boxer,
or a boxer,
heavyweight
yeah,
champion. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Which one?
which is wild,
Vitaly Klitschko. Yeah.
yeah. But you see like stuff like I don't know. It's weird because we have talked about how nationalism is pathetic, but it's interesting when you see, but I mean, I mean, it is nationalism, I guess. Like, you know, fighting for your country.
I guess, yeah, I see what you mean. I don't know if it's, when we talk about, when we say like, oh, it's pathetic and stuff, I think it's
Yeah,
more just just a feeling that like inherently, like, I'm like from this country, like, therefore it's the best country. It needs to be, like,
yeah,
there's a big difference between just like, I mean, especially with this, there's a huge difference between straight up nationalism and then like being like, I will defend my home, like,
yeah.
and be proud while doing it. That's a different story. But
No, I agree. It's definitely it's very different. Um, but still at the same time, it's like, uh, yeah. What I was gonna say with that is that I was like, yeah, I was watching all like these kind of like, I guess, what do you call it then? Patriotic, people
yeah,
fighting, civilians fighting Russian troops, and I was like looking at all this shit the other day, and I was like, getting a little choked up, even like,
yeah,
like,
no,
wow.
definitely, same here.
Even with Zelensky too, I was like, wow, this is great. I'm really, but then I'm thinking like, this shouldn't even be this should not be even be happening.
No, definitely not. But and
And
yeah,
like the fact that like the media is like, uh, it's interesting. It's interesting because like when when these like stories go around of like heartwarming stories go around, it makes me feel like I'm being manipulated, and that even after I get like the heartwarming feeling, and then I go like, wait a second, what's happening here?
I definitely know what you mean. It's like but it is. I mean, anything that almost everything is propaganda in some way. You know what I mean? Just like, of course, like, and of course, like the Ukrainian side too is gonna do things to try to get people more enthusiastic about defending and about not surrendering and trying to get more aid and stuff. Of course, but it's just I don't know. There's we have the ability to reason. You know what I mean? Like, not everything just has to be like, well, here's my starting point. Here, what is this? What path? Like, what am I witnessing right now? Is it like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
one of those chart things. Like, it's like, Is it propaganda? Yes. Okay, just everything about this is bad. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you're even implying that that should
No.
happen or anything like that, but I just mean like yeah, okay, it is in a way, but that doesn't change the fact. I mean, the president actually did stay there. You know what I mean? And he actually is like doing something that like most leaders wouldn't. Most would just, be like either go to safety and lead from there, or be like, oh well, I need to spare as many lives as I can, so I'll just surrender, and then
How do we know that? Because I feel like that hasn't happened in the modern.
what that most would do that. I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, maybe I guess I shouldn't say. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's just the way I
Actually, 'cause
feel.
I saw that same sentiment online as well, and I was like, I right away too. I was like, huh, yeah. But then I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. When they attack, when Russia attacks Poland, I'm sure that the Polish president would probably stay there.
I guess, yeah. I guess, well, yeah. I guess I'm just looking at it from
Well, hopefully.
a
I
more
mean, like,
America-centric thing. I don't know. I just would.
yeah, but even America, it would be like kind of like I mean, I feel like just for the sentiment alone, I feel like people would like stay visible.
Visible, sure, like, but not like I'm staying in the capital of, which is their main target. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know. The thing is that we don't know it at all because it's never like a modern, a modern country hasn't been invaded in a very long time.
That way, and yeah, like, I know what you mean. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
usually it's just too one-sided. Like, the invader just basically is like, oh no no no, we have every right to be here. Like and then they just like the opposition doesn't really stand a chance militarily. Like talking about
Yeah.
like Israel and Palestine. That's
Oh,
that's
oh,
just
God.
that's an occupation. Like, come on, like, it
Well,
just is. Like,
yeah, it depends on who you ask.
it definitely depends on who you ask, but I just don't see. I don't know. I don't know. Just imagine
Well, that
someone
could-
just
that-
comes in and says like, "Oh, wait, you live here? No, I live here now." And then they just
Yeah.
bulldoze down your homes and then build new ones for themselves and
But
be
that-
like, "Why are you trying to?
That's
Why are you attacking us? Why are you doing this?" It's like, it's just the dumbest thing. But
yeah. Well, I mean, that's World War One.
I guess I don't
Right?
know. I thought it was World War II, but I could be wrong. But
I think it was during World War One where England promised the land
oh, really?
to two different people, and then
Oh, okay, okay.
I think it was World War Two when the Israeli state really solidified. A lot of Jewish people lived there
Yeah. And it's
after World War Two.
and
during
don't get
World
me
War
wrong, it's I don't know. I don't know. It's just ridiculous how these things happen because I don't know. I don't know. Like,
II. But with Russia,
yeah, just all of it. Like, just people being like, "This is my land." No, it's mine. And like, I don't know. What it really comes down to is like, in Ukraine, for example, like, they have been an independent state for way too long to be like, oh no no no, that was like, no, don't you know you're actually part of Russia? Or like, we basically are like, more or less, you're a part of us. You know what I mean? Even though you're not going to be exactly the same as us, but you're a part of us. Don't get it twisted. It's like most of these people just their whole lives they have only known I'm a Ukrainian. Like, you know what I mean? They don't think that they're part of Russia or anything like that. Like, not even the Soviet Union for a lot of people, especially, at this point,
Yeah.
like, it's like 30 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Like, that it
yeah, okay,
came apart. And even then, like, even back then, during the Soviet Union, like, a Ukrainian person is still a Ukrainian person. Like, yeah, they're a Soviet, like, they're part of the Soviet Union, but they're still, like, they're not fully Russian, you know what I mean? And no one would think that they were, and they wouldn't think they were, and I don't know, from what I understand, they weren't even considered the same, they had their own votes in, like, European Parliament or the UN or whatever, like, and stuff like that, too. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, it's just...
Well, they were part of the Russian Empire.
Right, yes. See, that's that is
and
what
then-
the real objective is here to like
Yeah.
restore the glory of the Russian Empire, which is just like I don't know. It's just we live in a modern world supposedly, and
I know.
what he like I don't know. Like, what does he think he's gonna go ride into battle with his sword and go conquer land? Like, it's just not. You know, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
saying it like it's so ridiculous,
yeah.
like this has never happened
the-
before, but it's such an insane concept, you know, like
The thing is, I feel like he tried to do it, and this is not even close to being defense of it, but like he tried to do it diplomatically for a bit, and like mildly aggressively, and then I don't know. I think that he's getting old, honestly,
no,
and I think that he's like I think that he thought he would have already done it by now
I think
or something.
I think
and
so.
through maybe more diplomatic means. But he is getting restless and is like, I'm just gonna have to do it.
yeah, no, I think you're probably right.
I mean, unless there like even with like the way that the initial invasion happened, it seemed like it was rushed. You know, I don't know if that's true or if there was logistical things that happened that were unforeseen or whatever. But like just the way like you're Russia. I mean, you should be able to like really take Ukraine, take
You would
Kiev. I
think.
mean.
You would think.
You know, but it seems like either A, like they are just out of practice.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I have no idea. But I mean, their soldiers have been in war in like the Middle East and stuff for a while as well.
And a lot of them, I mean, I think what happened is he just severely I think you're right about a lot of that stuff. But when you say he tried diplomatically, you know, by that we mean, just don't just be out, like don't, you know, just accept that we own you basically, and if you don't, you know, we'll just continue putting in presidents that are gonna do whatever I want, you know, meaning
Yeah.
what Putin wants and stuff, and then people were like, we refuse this. They had like a little war, kinda, and then they took like Crimea, and they
Yeah.
you know, and killed civilians and stuff. It's like, and then so he comes in, takes Crimea, and then starts expanding over to like, you know, trying to basically steal, you know, Luhansk and Donbass, and he is just like, wait, why are you guys being so aggressive towards me? I'm not even doing anything. Meanwhile, it's like, oh, I'm just like slowly taking over your country. You know, it's just insane. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking, you know, like the whatever, the idea that like, you know, like instead of like war, leaders should just fight. I'm sure you've heard that, like,
yeah, of course,
that sentiment before, whatever. But I pictured it. That'd be really funny. Putin rolls up to Kiev and is like, "Oh, we're gonna fight Zelensky."
Yeah, I mean,
And then like whoever wins gets to have the country.
yeah, I mean, sadly, that would probably be more of a fair situation than what we have now. But still, even so, it's like, I don't know. What if your president is just like not that good at boxing or something? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, boom,
Well,
you
that's
just
what-
got taken
yeah,
over.
Yeah. Then, oh man, no, you know, you have like a like they did in like the I don't even know if this is real, honestly, but like they would have like in a like a Game of Thrones and stuff. They have like
Like a duel?
They pick like the army would just be one really strong guy, and everyone has their one strong guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's like the president and the fighter. There's one guy that fights.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, like the president could like choose a champion.
Yeah, champion.
Yeah.
something
Well,
like
then
that.
he could pick Vitaly Klitschko, and
Yeah.
he'll go in and fight. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Who's a strong Russian guy? Ukraine actually has a surprising amount of those people.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
don't know. That would be funny though. The geopolitical landscape would change as frequently as like UFC belts change.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, Conor McGregor would have been like the champ, would have been the king of the world for a while. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he would have been Alexander
What
the Great.
Ireland? Is he from? He's
Yeah,
Irish
yeah,
guy.
yeah. I think.
Ireland would have all of a sudden had like taken over most of the EU.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't know who beat him. I don't even know. I don't watch UFC or anything. It's just
Yeah,
you know.
me either. It's just a funny concept.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so stupid, but it's just funny.
The fact that, I mean, you know, I mean, I know that, like, dude, I can't, like, just like this whole thing is so silly.
I mean, it's silly when you break it down into like how ridiculous it is, but the reality of it is like horrific. I mean,
Well, the fact that, yeah, people are being killed is not good.
yeah. But the actual what? Just like the whole concept of the like just some idiot sitting in a palace is like
Just like, yeah, just people's conceptualization of like land and resources and what it actually is and what it means to them is, it's just funny. It's really funny to think about to me. Like,
so pathetic.
and like
Yeah.
all of just, all of this violence and destruction of property and life.
Yeah.
It's
Because a guy thinks it's his historical duty to restore what was once a great empire. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I can understand that thought crossing someone's mind for a second, and then, but at the next moment, I can only understand if the only reasonable follow up to that is to be like, I'm such an idiot, and then just like go about your day, not to be like,
'Cause
yeah, I'm gonna do it now.
I mean, I was even trying to frame it like, I was thinking, okay, the United States, at some point in time, everybody decides that, the United States needs to be broken up because, it's inherently evil. So whatever, whatever countries come in and, whatever happens, they win, and then they break up the United States, and there's like maybe like a few different areas, right?
Yep.
And then down the line, or actually, I guess no, yeah, it would be different than that a little bit with Ukraine, because it would be, like, say like Texas wants to secede from the Union,
Okay.
and, and during the same time, yeah, so we get broken up, and then Texas is its own state now, its own country now, and the
Right.
rest, the rest of the U.S., whatever. And then down the line, the U.S. invades Texas to take it back. If you think about it like that, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I get it. Whatever.
I
It's
mean,
it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, the history of the land, and it's obviously like, it's been part of that country for a while, and that they want it back to be part of the country that it was, and to reform the United States in its all its glory.
I get
It's
it.
just, it's the same thing, and I mean, I'm not saying it's right, obviously, but
Right.
it's
I get it, but don't get me wrong. Like, I understand that okay, Kiev used to be like the capital of Russia. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and it was like, but you're not dealing with like, oh, let me write a story, and I'm gonna write that like, oh, this is the empire and this is the land, and this is the way it should be and how it's always been, and we're gonna keep it that way. It's like there's just like people that go around and they like have a crush on a girl, and they go to work, and they like, they have fun like playing a video game, and they like this TV show, and they like this band, and they just go around and live their life. And now because your dumbass wants to write a book,
Yeah.
you want to write a story, you're gonna go bomb their apartment building and blow up their streets and kill kids and stuff. Like it's just like there's no justification whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a good point.
at the end of the day, it's just like the only thing that's real in this whole equation are like the people. You know what I mean? Everything else is just like
Yeah.
is just
Cons-
yeah, it's just a concept. What is Russia? I don't know. Like if a
Exactly.
fucking electromagnetic strong electromagnetic storm from the sun or something like comes too close to Earth, it'll just demagnetize, or what, I don't know the official term, but like it would just
Okay.
like it would wipe every hard drive,
Yeah.
all electronics, and then if it fucking rains on some stuff and you leave, or if something goes on fire, boom, it's all gone. No one's ever gonna know what Russia was. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's made
Yeah,
up.
I
What was
mean-
it before that? What, some fucking guy? So if we find an ancient history book, or like an ancient tablet that says that like Russia used to be called whatever, something, I don't
Yeah.
know, Pinemen land.
Ukraine.
Yeah, like Russia used to be called Pinemen land, and what, we're gonna be able to go and be like, guys, this just in. Thousands of years ago, Russia was actually ours. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, come on. It's so
I know.
absurd. Like,
But I mean, that point right there is really funny to me. Like the conceptualization of that. Borders are conceptualized, and like
yeah.
it even goes funny. Like it's it's so interesting to me that we don't want to put more emphasis in life on like joy.
Yeah.
Like just like why is that not an instinct of ours? Because especially maybe it will become one. Maybe evolution will get involved later.
I think it is one, but people have worked really hard to make you feel like you should feel guilty for even thinking that. Are you kidding me? What did you do to
Yeah.
deserve that? You know what I mean? Go to work
Yeah.
and, stop being lazy. Go to work and go into debt. Do it. What are you, a slacker? Like, come on. You got to get your
Yeah.
own place. You got to get your own car. You got to get your own education. You got to get married and spend $20,000 on a wedding. Otherwise, like, oh, come on. The girl's not going to be satisfied. What kind of girl would marry a guy who's not willing to dish out the money on that? Like, this is all just made up stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's interesting. It's like society has been structured in such a way over time that is like it. What would happen if all of a sudden it couldn't happen? But I don't know. I don't know if people would know what to do with true freedom.
I mean,
I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, it's hard to even define what
Because
that
even
is.
I don't
you
even know. Like it's like the thing is like what we've talked about before, and we're getting off the topic of Ukraine.
Yeah.
But the thing we've talked about before is like meaning. I feel like that's one of the main things that people really need in order to like
Yeah.
feel happy at all.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So like, for a lot of people, the systems that are in place now give a lot of meaning to stuff, and then if they feel like they're doing stuff, but sometimes obviously that's detrimental, and then they feel like they're doing too much stuff, and it's stressful, and they don't want to do as much stuff.
Yeah, and as far as people being able to find meaning, there's plenty of it out there. It's just from day one, where basically it's like ingrained in us that like, I mean, and think about every person. Everybody was once a kid. Everyone,
Yeah.
obviously, was once a kid.
Everyone.
Believe it or not. You watching at home, you were a kid once. Do you know that? No, I'm just kidding.
You
But
still
like,
are.
yeah.
You're still a kid,
Well, that's
except
kind of
you're
that's
grown.
honestly not even far off from my point. It's like you're still that person. Like, what has changed in you? It's not just like, oh, time has gone by and naturally the program in my brain that was typed in for me told me biologically that I have to like become like bitter and grumpy and like older and like focused on just like acquiring stuff, and that's my purpose now. And oh, how old am I? What's the expectation at this age? Oh, I'm not there yet. Oh, I'm panicking. I gotta get there. You know what I mean? Like, that's not normal. That's not like built into like a human being's like purpose or anything like that. You know what I mean? There is nothing that totally 100% like defines that. Honestly, it's like you just get told constantly that like oh, that's like, oh, that's a waste of time. No, I want you to be this. I want you to be that. You got to be this. Oh, strive for this. If you want to, oh, that's not a real job. Oh, that's not going to make any money. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just everybody is like told that at some point. Like, mostly, like, probably a lot. And even if it's not like someone directly says it to you, like, don't do that. That's not going to make you a lot of money. It's like, you just hear it through everything. You know what I mean? Like, people just, it's a known thing. Like, it's like, even little stuff, like in a movie. And I'm not saying they do this on purpose, like some guy is sitting there saying, like, let me make the guy who's the janitor look like a bum, you know what I mean? It's just, but I'm just saying, it's like reinforced, just, you know, by seeing it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's like totally intentional in that regard,
Yeah.
but like, it's just but I don't know. It's hard to like explain it all really quickly, but it's like, and not that I have the answers. I'm just like kind of saying what's on my mind right now. But like, it's like, I don't know. The only reason why why certain things are viewed as better than the other things is because people just learned that like, oh, those guys make a lot of money and that they can have like a good, comfortable life, and that other thing doesn't get you a lot of money, and it's harder to have a good, comfortable life, and things like that. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah. The thing is with like, you're like kind of talking about just the hierarchy system generally.
kind of, yeah. Like, just yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, the thing about people too is that, once again, abstraction. We're very good at abstraction, and our hierarchy system is built with a lot of all different types of abstraction too. So like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like a like, you know, hierarchy based on wealth is definitely there, and then there's a hierarchy based on intelligence, and like, you know, especially when it comes to like even just like, I don't know, like mating. If you're thinking about it from like a biological like standpoint, it's like there's like definitely people who like money and security is very important, and then but then there's like, we also have like people who like creative types and
Right.
intellectual types that maybe have less money but have more of something else, and it's just it's all kind of convoluted, and it doesn't people would argue that it holds a lot of meaning, and that it's very important, and that it's almost inherent to being a person, and sure, you know, I think hierarchy kind of systems seem to be very naturally occurring.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, but
I think the one based on like, cause like, you know, it's like, the thing is that money can become valueless.
right.
You know, so like it's not like it's you know, it's like if you're just hoarding a bunch of money, that's not inherent security. Like look at Russia, for
Technically,
example, right?
yeah. No, I see what you mean. Yeah. Right. Like,
You know, that money just is turned off now.
right. So it's weird because that's what it is. Like, yeah, money. So yeah, I agree. Like, I think like some form of like hierarchy or whatever, unfortunately, you know, or whatever like, I think it is like pretty natural. Obviously, I mean, like pretty much.
People are better at some things,
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
or like
And-
or if you try to be better at something, then yeah.
And I think
you're
it has
rewarded for
happened, you know, just throughout history and with other animals and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but even with that, I think that's even. It's different. It's different. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just it's different. But like with humans, like yeah, something like that, money. Like the things that we assign value to are like almost all conceptual. It's not like we have hierarchy based on like who like I just mentioned other animals. It's not like we have hierarchy based off who like can acquire the most food per day, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to provide for his village. You know, like we don't. That's not how it works. It's not who like, you know what I mean? Like who is the
Yeah.
best at like defending against wild animals or something, you know? Like, and therefore it's like, oh, and even with that being said, what should be the hierarchy there? What is that? What should that person now do? Like, oh, you're really good at defending. You're really good at hunting for like for food for us, and you're really good at like growing wheat. So now you should make the decisions about the tax system, and you should make decisions about like how to defend our territory, and you should decide. You should plan this. You should like design what buildings could be built in certain locations and which can't, and where we have to do canals and the sewage. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? No,
Yeah.
no. Like, but if you want to break it down into like stuff like, I don't know, you know, like I could see like some form of like, okay, you're the best at doing this task, so like, you should be like looked at for like advice. Maybe you're like a bit of like a leader in that role or something like that, but like not like a hierarchy in the sense where it's like you can now tell me these are the laws now. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting how we like uh I don't know. I guess like come to terms with who. Yeah, it's interesting. That is interesting. But yeah, that's why it's so abstracted, the hierarchy system,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, it's interesting because you said, I mean, like it's like, yeah, it's like not based on any one thing. It's based on like a multitude of things.
Yeah.
Truly. But
Yeah.
but it seems to be measured with wealth.
Yeah. And it's just so like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I get it. I'm not sitting here acting like I literally don't understand the concept of what makes a rich person more like, you know, more of like a figure that people will respect and look up to and put like, you know, trust with power than someone who just, you know, whatever, works like minimum and doesn't really like care about like accumulating more wealth and just wants to kind of just like live and do whatever the hell they want. You know what I mean? Like I get it, but at the same time, like it's kind of like what you said. Like I don't know if individuals who don't really care about that, well, like basically if you acknowledge that like okay, like having that there's a certain point where you reach like security, kinda, you know what I mean, more or less, with money and stuff like that, or like
Yeah.
more or less like you're basically secure. You don't have to worry like, oh my god, am I going to get evicted, am I going to like not be able to buy groceries, am I not going to be able to go to the hospital if I have to, like oh my god, can I afford, you know, just those types of things that we need to just like get through life without having to really stress too much about it. But you still have to work and whatever, like just like, you know, you work 40 hours a week if you're lucky or whatever, and like, you know, that's your life. Okay, fine. But beyond that, any like, you know, okay, and then there's like some extra stuff where it's like now I can go on vacations all the time and do all this fun party, like enjoyable stuff. Okay, fine. But go beyond that, and what is the rest of it? It's like, what inherently is so special about like owning like a $15 million house? Like, what is that? What are you gonna do? You're going to feel cool when you go and... What is the difference? Like, I don't know why this comes to mind every time I talk about stuff like this, but it's like, you're still going to go in there, and when you pee, a little is going to splash on the thing, and you got to, like, wipe it off a little. Like, you know what I mean? That's still going to happen to you, dude. Like, there's no difference. Like, you know what I mean? You just feel cooler doing it or something. You're still going to, like, you know? Like, you're still going to, like, if you spill a little food on the floor, it's still going to be there, and you got to clean it up, like, or have someone clean it for you. I guess that's the beauty of it or something. But I don't know,
God.
like what is even the value in that? It's like, if anything, it reaches a point of just like, you're like, what do you even, you're like, the money replaces your like need to like be a basic human being. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I exist and I live my life, and you exist, and your idea of living your life is like you clean up the spaghetti sauce on the floor when I drop it and stuff. You know, like, because you're my maid. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying I have something so against, you know, the concept of a maid. I guess I don't know. Whatever. I haven't really thought about it deeply, but like, it's just like,
it is odd. It is odd.
In a way, I do, because I don't even think that level of wealth inequality should even exist. You know what I mean? That, you know, like. Literally, someone who is a janitor at a high school janitor, literally serves more of a like benefit to society than like someone on the board of directors at like Pepsi. You know what I like? What you literally don't benefit society in any way, shape, or form. You're just a you're a net negative on the world, and a
Yeah,
janitor in a
dude,
high
that is
school, like
interesting.
you
That
know,
is interesting.
yeah. But yet
Wow.
we look at it like, oh, it's great
Wow.
because you drive the car with that symbol on it instead of the car with that symbol on it. Oh, so that makes you
Yeah.
better. It makes a cool noise when it goes in the thing. Oh, the seats are leather. Okay, like what? Okay, like they're leather. Good for like good. That's cool, I guess. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand the idea of like stuff being comfortable and being whatever, but like,
Sure.
it's weird how people just don't take a sec to look and be like, what if it's just like I only think that that's really cool because like on the commercials they always show the guy in the suit, and then like I watch like I hear about the guy in the suit and I think about like Leonardo DiCaprio and stuff, and like then he's dating the girl that I think is really cute, and then like he must have a good life. I want that. So I want
Yeah.
to live I want to live like that. It's like you don't even like what if you don't have to think that? You know what I mean? Like you could just do what you want to do, you know? Like
That is very true.
I don't know.
It's
You know?
it's true.
It's
I had
like
something.
being like a like it's like the what is the difference between that and like being like okay, you get your joy from seeing the bank balance go up and you know, seeing good returns on your investments and buying new stuff and stuff. Okay, cool. That makes you happy. Like what is the difference between that and someone who's just like I just get happy when I like eat 10,000 calories a day and I just like to eat ice cream all day. Like oh like you know? Like if you what do
Yeah.
you what's the difference? You know what I mean? What's the difference? I mean, I
Happy and
understand that it's bad for your health and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. If you're like some oil
well, yeah. That's
executive making all this money, you're destroying the world. You know what I mean? And it's just
yeah.
like, oh, but like you have the driver and you got the apartment, the luxury apartment in New York City. Wow.
Yeah.
So you must be cool. I don't know.
It
Like,
is
sorry,
interesting.
I'm kind of talking
It
about
goes
this
back.
in a very
It goes back. It goes
scattered
back
way.
to what we were saying a couple episodes ago, even with like, what's the point? You know, what is this for? You know, and if what it's for is to contribute to society in a meaningful way, I don't think
We're
we're
not
doing
doing
it right.
it. No.
We're doing it right.
Like imagine if just take New York City for example. Just imagine all those buildings that you always see, you know? And
Yeah.
instead they just were instead of the people being in there and like for the most part, you know, all right, you know, you're working at like for some financial company, you know, whatever. And they do investments and your job is to, you know, whatever. Do whatever. Like make sure that it like is in compliance with like the laws as far as like the investment, whatever, you know, and all that. That's your job. All right. I mean, you could say like in a roundabout way, those investments benefit the economy or something, and it makes like it's actually good. No one can really explain to you why it's good, and no normal person feels like it's good. But trust me, the people that are making the money from it are telling you it's good. So like you gotta understand it's good, you know.
Yeah.
But so imagine if instead those people were just like doing anything that is just actually beneficial, like creating like new ways to, okay, kind of bringing it back to the situation that is going on in Ukraine right now, finding ways to get to actually just get more efficient renewable energy sources and stuff like that. Like
Hey.
just doing
Wow.
things like that or finding better ways to like not use like plastic so much and stuff, or like if you do use plastic, it's like for something that's meant to last like decades and stuff, not like a little fork and like a little, you know what I mean, or like just like stuff that's going to be used one time and then thrown away and then just thrown into the ocean somewhere. You know what I mean? Just things like that. Or like, you know, like what if it was just
Little
like that?
fork.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I'm just trying to think of like some stupid little because I know
Yeah.
it's
Think about the amount of plastic forks that are just around still.
yeah, exactly, and they're going to be around for thousands of years and stuff. Or I think
Yeah.
it might be even longer than that. I don't know. But
Dear God.
like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people who's like, yeah, like not using plastic straws is a great idea. It's like you using plastic straws is like nothing in comparison to what corporations do on a daily basis. You know what I mean? You'll never
Yeah.
you'll never damage the world in your entire lifetime with plastic straws the way that they do every day. You know, like
Yeah. That's a band-aid solution.
yeah, and no, and it's worse than that. It's
Well, it makes people feel good about it.
yeah, well, and also it makes people think that oh well, yeah, we wanna. It's really interesting how the people who control money and media, aka just corporations and capitalists, are the ones who decide to tell you that the reason why there's all this bad stuff is because like you guys are just like being really irresponsible with your plastic straws, man. Like you gotta cut back on the
Yeah.
plastic straws, and then we could really fix this whole thing. But like, no, I'm gonna continue building oil pipelines and like dump. Oh, oops, another oil spill in the ocean. Oh, oopsie.
Yeah.
Sorry. I said sorry though. Like
Yeah.
I made a statement.
Things like this are going to happen when we're trying to revolutionize the way that things are done.
Yeah, exactly. And by revolutionize the way things are done, it's let's get more of this stuff and use it more while actively preventing like positive changes from happening in the world. Like, but it's okay because I'll be dead by the time that the effects really kick in, so it's okay. Like,
Oh man, you know what? All this oil, you know, I need it
yeah,
for my military.
it's so pathetic. It's like this is gonna sound so stupid, but like this is gonna sound so stupid. So just take this with a grain of salt. But like, it is kind of just like this is like sort of. Sometimes you're just thinking about weird stuff, and like, or just dumb thoughts pop into your mind or whatever. And it's like, I mean, think about if I wrote a story. If I was like, yo, I thought of this amazing book. It's gonna be where like it's kind of like a fantasy book, and in it there are these like colossal weapons that have never really been awakened. They were awakened once, nearly 100 years ago. And the destruction that it caused was like none other. And they are now like they still exist in the world, but no one really talks about them. No one really understands them as well. But like there's always that fear that they could be woken up and unleashed upon humanity once again, but this would probably wipe out the world. And there's a lot of bad stuff going on because there's this like these liquid crystals that like really energize everything, and all of the world depends on these liquid crystals to like pump energy into all the industries of the world, and that they're fighting over the crystals, and they're afraid that someone is going to awaken the colossal machines, the colossal weapons that have the power to destroy humanity. It's like you'd be like, oh, okay. I mean, that sounds like, it kind of sounds like an anime or like an old anime or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's like Gundams or something that are going to come up, and it's like,
Yeah.
we do that. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
I know you. Obviously, I'm not trying to act like it's like, oh, here's the big reveal, guys. We do that now. Like obviously, you know what I meant from the start.
I love that story.
I'm just saying, it sounds so stupid when you just break it down to like, this is what actually is going on. People are like, I need the black stuff that's under the ground because it makes my machines work, and if you step in my way when I'm allowed to control everything because 80 years ago we built nuclear weapons. Okay.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's wild. It's really like every decision is made on the back of like another decision that was made on the back of another decision, and it gets so convoluted and more abstract that now we're here acting like this is like what has to happen.
Right, and no one's willing to take a second and be like, hold up.
No,
Russia
has to invade Ukraine because Ukraine is part of its geopolitical landscape, and it needs it. And it needs its resources, obviously.
Right. It needs its support. Like it needs to basically use it as a shield from the West. It's like.
Oh no! I think Russia's gonna keep expanding.
No, I do too. Honestly, well, I don't think they're gonna succeed. I hope not anyway. But they'll try. If they can, they will. Like let's put it.
Okay, so how does Ukraine get out of this? Do you think that the West is gonna step in a major way?
Honestly,
or do you think that Ukraine will like will there be like a war of liberation later after Ukraine is taken by Russia, and then they move on to Poland? Or
I think if it gets taken, it'll be like mass insurgency for decades, or until they, there'll be like assassination attempts on whatever puppet president they put in. There'll be,
yeah,
they'll be
well,
doing
did you see
car
the thing?
bombs and stuff. Like,
Did you see that thing that Putin was talking about doing? I don't know if this is verified or what. I just remember I read it. Like basically split it in half
yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
and
I
like
don't.
leave Zelensky in Kiev and then have another president in like the eastern
Oh,
Ukraine or
really? Was
something.
that the? I don't know.
But that could. But then I think what they were saying in the same kind of breath was like maybe that's just like a ploy to get him to the table.
Maybe, I don't know. To be honest, when I saw it, I saw that picture, but I didn't like read or like really look at it so super closely or whatever. For some reason, I assumed that it was just kind of more like, this is the first area that we're going to try to take over, and then we'll try to move into this area, and then we'll, like, I thought it was more just like splitting it up into like military targets.
Oh,
That's what I thought. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. I don't know if anyone
yeah.
else knows. Who knows? But
Did they? Do you know if they had the meeting yet?
which one?
Did Putin meet with
Oh,
Zelensky yet?
they had like, what do you call it? Like representatives go in and do a meeting, and it just was nothing. During the meeting, they didn't even like stop shelling Ukraine during it, literally.
Uh, okay, because I heard something about them meeting at like the by Chernobyl.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't think it did, but
Okay.
I really don't think so, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, it's just yeah. So I think like even if they take it over, it won't like people won't just say like, oh okay, this is the way it is now. All right, fine, cool, I'm down with that. No,
Yeah.
they'll like continue rebelling. But I don't know. I think, and maybe this is wishful thinking, but I don't know. I think that they're I don't think they'll be able to actually take over the country. I just don't. Like, and I think that as more
They
time,
definitely won't be able to hold it.
yeah, and as more time goes on, I don't know. I just see more and more like resistance from regular people. I mean, I've thought this since the first day. Like, I think that what can stop this for real is just like regular people going and just being like, what are they going to do? They're like, if Russians already, I mean, they're arresting them by like the thousands, which is insane. They're arresting little kids and stuff like that in Russia who are protesting.
Ru-
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't see the little kids. But I
yeah.
did see
There's
them.
like Russian kids that are getting arrested for holding up a sign. It's the most insane thing in the world, and
Dude, I mean, this could be the end.
it could be. I mean, of what? Everything.
The Putin
Russia?
Putin
Yeah.
era.
I hope so. I mean, that would be good. I mean, depending on who takes his place, but I mean, it's kind of hard to top this.
Man, maybe that'll be like another Russian Revolution.
I don't know. I mean, I guess, yeah.
Well,
No,
but
I mean, it could
it-
be. I mean, right?
They'll
It's
become a
ripe for it.
democratic country.
Yeah, it's definitely ripe for it. That's why it's annoying. I find it weird when people say, like, not that anything like what you just said, but like some people are like, oh yeah, Putin just wants to rebuild the USSR, and it's like, no, like it's just not. Like, they are literally, they have nothing in common with the USSR. Like, you know what I mean? They just are a completely different economy, and they are just. He wants he wants to rule the land. That's it. It's about like him and Russia's influence and stuff. Like, it's not about like trying to redo the USSR or something like that. It's about like, I mean, unless
No.
people are just talking about like literally get the exact land back, but just have a completely different political system and economy. All right, if you want to say that, then fine. But like, I don't know. It's like,
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think he wants like the. I think he just wants the esteem. It's like what I was saying kind of before. It's like
yeah,
He just wants to be the guy who does it.
Right, he wants to secure his place in like the history books and not just be the guy. It's like he served as president from this year to this year. Okay,
Yeah.
here's some interesting facts. They want it to be like he reunited the empire and
Yeah,
know,
and
like,
took on the West and won.
yeah. Meanwhile, I mean, I don't even like it's just pathetic. I mean, I am definitely not the person who goes around thinking like, yeah, the Western military world is what I'm all about. I love the idea of NATO going in and just dropping bombs on people. You know, like I obviously don't like that, but but still, I mean, I realize that like, especially after this, it's like, does aside from like the nuclear threat, does anyone fear Russia's military now? Are you kidding me? This is like he basically like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he
showed his hand.
should have just kept talking because people actually thought like he had something to back it up with. But this is like pathetic, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying pathetic like that's nothing to say. You know, I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like they're so pathetic. Oh my God, Ukraine should easily be able to destroy them. I think it's because the Ukrainians actually have like a reason to be fighting. You know what I mean? And they're actually like highly motivated and stuff. And yeah, and meanwhile they're like basically just relying. Their entire military is basically on a road right now, just like kind of like stuck.
Oh, they're stuck.
I mean, I don't know if they're exactly stuck, but it's not like just moving along or anything. It's like
Yeah,
they're
so there was like multiple miles of
yeah,
armored trucks and stuff.
and supposedly they're like running out of gas and stuff like that, and they're like having a hard
I
time
saw
getting
those
gas back to
videos.
them. I don't know how true this is, but apparently, like, you know, because they're trying to attack from Belarus also, which that guy is even. He might be the dumbest human being on the face of the earth, straight up. Like, Lukashenko or whatever. He just seems like the biggest moron in the world. But I guess that makes sense for him to be a leader of a puppet government for Putin. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. But
That's what you want. You want someone who is enthusiastically dumb.
exactly, and he's great at being enthusiastically dumb. But like, and then, but apparently people, you know, there've been like multiple, like, in the past day or two, like multiple occasions of like people sabotaging the railways coming from Belarus to the Ukrainian border that are supposed to be like bringing over like fuel and stuff like that, and they're like interfering with that big time. Yeah, like
Damn.
I don't know. I just hope that the people of all these countries, which obviously Ukraine's already doing it, and a lot of Russians are, but like I don't know how much information they have. I don't think a lot, so it's like kind of, you know, obviously, well, what am I talking about? They're basically have everything censored, and like it's hard for them to get much information about like what's really going on, especially if you're like of an older generation, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's hard enough in this country. In this country, people think that like, you know, they're gonna they're gonna resurrect JFK, and you know.
I know.
So yeah, I mean that's not a lot of people, but like it's too many, that's for sure. Like,
The whole like information war propaganda thing is so it's sad and funny and like so incredibly important to be aware of.
yeah, from any angle you look at it, it is any one of those things, and
Yeah, it's
all of
it's
them.
all of what?
And you know, and all of them too. You know, like it's just
Yeah. It's like exactly okay. With the amount of abstraction that we have to deal with on a daily basis, when you start messing with that, even a little bit, it really fucks people up.
yeah, yeah. I
Oh.
don't know. Like
Do you want to look at some? You want to look at some propaganda? You want to take a quick break,
Yeah,
actually, and then come back and look at some propaganda.
yeah, let's do it. Let's
Alright.
dive right into some good old fashioned, high quality, grade A propaganda, courtesy of Reddit.
Yeah, boy.
All right. Okay. And we will be right back then. Just a couple minutes. And we're back.
Okay,
Um,
it's funny,
what?
but how postmodern we think about all these things sometimes.
What do you mean by that?
Just the like the just destroying the meaning of it until it's like,
Yeah.
what did we do?
Yeah. And by the way, I just want to say one thing real quick. Just like, I don't know, like as if people actually, not that I think a lot of people are going to watch this and especially not get like outraged by the way I'm talking about this, I guess. But like, I do want to say, like, don't get me wrong. I know we're calling it propaganda and stuff like that, but we're just saying that as like just a factual statement, like it all is. But that's not
Yeah,
assigning
no, it
any
is propaganda.
like value to it or taking away from it or whatever. It's that, but it's more just like don't get me wrong. I like think that like the resistance that Ukraine is showing right now is like I have a tremendous amount of
Cool
respect
and
for
good.
it. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
mean, they're getting invaded by a country that is a foreign country. That and I
Yeah.
mean, you could break it down and be like, oh, what's a country? But like at the end of the day, let's just put it this way: they're in their homes, living their lives, and then people are coming and dropping bombs and shooting them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I respect them not accepting that. You know what I mean? Obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think it's insane that they're being attacked in the first place. And I understand like that there's issues with like, NATO talks and things like that, and Russia being concerned about that or whatever. But it's like there's a reason why they don't want to be so dependent on Russia anymore. You know what I mean? And it's like a choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not
And it
like,
was a choice they made a while ago.
right, and it's not something where it's like, oh, we own you. You're not allowed to do that. Don't you know? You're not even a real country. You're not allowed to do that. It's like, well, they're real people. They're real. They live real lives, and they have like real ambitions and goals and stuff. You know what I mean? And it's just who are you to tell them what they can and can't do in that way? You know what I mean? It's not like
Yeah.
they're trying to invade Russia or anything like that. They just want to be left alone. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know. Whatever. Just wanted to say that real quick because I feel like I'm like talking about it so abstractly that it's like, oh, it's all just stupid. Why is this even a thing? No, I don't mean it like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if it
It's
came
just
off that way.
it's just habitual to do that at this point.
Yeah, it is honestly. 'Cause
It's funny though. Like even like you think about like the terminology used and stuff. 'Cause, like the Ukraine
yeah,
versus Ukraine. It's like
yeah,
it's interesting. Very interesting.
it is. I mean,
I was thinking about it too. Like I feel like that's how I've always thought about it
yeah,
for a while. For a while, I don't even know. I
Yeah.
think I've referred to it as the Ukraine a lot.
yeah. I did. I thought of it that way until several years ago because my girlfriend is from there, and
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but and even before that, I don't know. I used to think like, like little Russian history and stuff like that, especially like with Soviet stuff, and even before that, it's just interesting and stuff. Like it's just like really interesting. I don't know. So like yeah, I mean, but it was referred to that way back then because it was a part of
Mhm.
Russia and it was a part of the Soviet Union or whatever, and like, but I don't know. I think even when it was part of the Soviet Union, it was like its own country called Ukraine, its own state or whatever. I don't know the exact details.
Well,
But
it's like, yeah, well, yeah, it's province.
yeah, I guess, But regardless. And I'm not saying like back then, oh, they had it so great and they were treated so well. Don't get me wrong. There were like atrocities committed there by like Stalin and stuff like that, or that he
Yeah,
was.
they were starved to death.
Yeah, exactly, which is horrific also. And it's just
Absolutely.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I was reading about that the other day. It was very horrific.
Yeah. It's just horrible, and it's just at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm looking at the absurdity of like the idea of like imperialism and just even I don't know land being owned and stuff like that from a point of view
Yeah.
of like the offensive like version of enforcing that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's a different story when these people aren't going to sit there and say I read in a history book one time that this is actually where the border ends, so I'll go fight in a war for that. Ukrainians, they're not saying that.
Yeah.
They're saying like, oh my God, like there's bombs going off on the street. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
it's more than that, but I'm just saying, like, if you just look at it that way, and even if you take everything into account, it's just, it's I just I'm not I don't I
I
was gonna say
mean,
I get it, but I mean it's more than that. I don't even understand because of
but I
how
mean,
insane
straight
it could
up,
be.
like even when you break it down to the most like to modern terms, it's economic at the end of the day. You know, like Ukrainian people are better off siding with the West economically.
It's probably I mean yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's like it's just if they want to do well as a country, siding with the West is better for them. You know,
Yep. Instead of
and
just being the
that's and
breadbasket
it's
for
not
Russia basically like
exactly, and it's not good for Russia.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, and we talked about this before we went live before, but like just the way Russia conceptualizes itself, even as like anti-West inherently,
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's you know the geopolitics is like deep shit,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and like even like I was saying before, like oh yeah, you know, thought exercise if Texas secedes and then later in time America wants to take it back. Like I can understand that.
Huh.
You know, it's like that's the same thing with Russia, and it's like, but there's so many things like that all over. Like it's like, you know, China has it with uh,
Taiwan
Taiwan,
and stuff, yeah.
and it's just like it's crazy. It's just like people are just people. Everyone, most everybody in the world does not care about this.
Random people? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the only people who care about it really are world leaders
Yeah.
and and historians.
Right, and then the only time regular people care about it is when it's like, why are they
Now things are
taking
blowing up
over?
around me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like then
Or when,
regular people start to care about it. But
yeah,
other
or
than
when
that,
the
people just
media
want to live their
is
lives
telling
and
you about it.
stuff. That's why it's weird when we always talk about. That's why it's hard when we always talk about like you know, what's like natural and what's like human nature and you know
Yeah, yeah,
stuff. It's like just because there are, it's a weird thing because it's like just because there are some psychos out there who want to do these crazy things doesn't mean it's natural. Like if anything, 99% of people don't want to do this stuff, you know? Like
yeah.
but it's a weird thing because why do these psycho people like always end up being the ones who make the decisions? You know what I mean? Like and I think
That's
part of it
that's the hierarchy, man, that we were talking about before.
yeah, but it's just not to mention it's not like yeah, I don't know. Because a normal person doesn't want to be in those positions to do that. I mean, do you want to be in a position where you're like, "Hi, you're now in charge of like a couple 100 million people and you have to like make every decision and like people are going to die. It's 100% guaranteed and it's going to be your fault, but like you got to just like figure it out." You know what I mean? Like who would be like, "I'm going to dedicate my life to doing that?"
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, unless you're gonna do it like I don't know, in like a like I don't know. It's one thing to do it from a point of view of like I see what's wrong with situations in this world, so I'm gonna like try to do something about it and like start something that's like gonna change things and stuff like that. That's one thing. But to just be like, I want to become the president or something. I don't know. It's like, or I want to just
Yeah.
become like, I don't know. You get what I mean? Like, it's just,
Like, you're talking about like what would it be to be like a reasonable monarch?
I mean, yeah. Like, I mean, why is that so rare? You know what I mean?
I know, right? I know,
Yeah.
I know. It is interesting. Like to just have somebody who's reasonable,
Yeah.
you
Like,
know, and completely at fault if he makes bad choices or she makes bad choices.
right.
And and they're just able to keep the peace and like
Yeah.
make decent choices.
Right. Like, just imagine someone aggressively rising to power to uphold anti-imperialist, equal,
Yeah.
you know, equal rights and, you know, going against like exploitation and, you know, being like just like that's what we want. I mean, they say that that's what they want, but it's so there's no reasonable person can actually take a look at that and say that that's what they do. And no one can
Yeah.
think that it's just like they're just not that good at their job. It's like No, that's how you get the job, is to be on the side of the people doing all those bad things in the first place. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, for 90% of the time, or more. You know,
Well,
I'm
what,
saying
what,
because yeah,
I feel like it would need to be like it would need to like yeah, it would need to be the people's choice. It would have to take like the revolution that we've talked about, where people just decide to stop doing stuff
right.
until there is accountability, and you know then maybe there's like a I don't know, like a single election is held or something that picks like the most reasonable man they can find.
Yeah, I guess. But like with
The
that,
most reasonable person.
yeah, even with that being said, it's like I don't know. Like people also seem to like not really get like I don't know. Like that's why it's like when I see like all this like F Joe Biden or like Let's Go Brandon stuff, it's just like or like Trump. Like oh, my entire political ideology is like Trump. That's it. Like the Trump. Yeah, Trump. Like oh, I hate Joe Biden. I like Trump. That's my ideology. It's like the president isn't even like it's just like a guy. You know what I mean? He's just one guy in one branch of the government. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a big role. Obviously, they have a tremendous amount of power and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, but like, what about like, why not? I don't know why it's even like why this is even like something that's like upheld. You know what I mean? Why isn't it like? What does some if people were saying, what does some career politician, senator from Delaware or whatever? I think that's where he's from. I don't know what state Joe Biden like was a senator from or whatever, but like or whatever. I think it's Delaware. I don't know. I think it's Delaware. Like some senator from Delaware. What the hell does he know about my life in Florida or Texas or whatever, West Virginia or something? You know what I mean? It's like I could see. And then if they're like, I think that we should have more of a like, like. I don't know. I don't know. Because they do say like, oh, I want smaller government, but like, a lot of people don't seem to really understand what that even means. Like, they just want to like be in that club. You know what I mean? It's like I want to be that guy. Like, it's because like, what do you actually want? Like,
maybe each state. Okay, now we're really getting out here. Maybe each state should elect a monarch. Right?
Well, they have governors.
Yeah, so the governor, but we need like it's like, the whole checks and balances thing.
Yeah.
It's okay, fine, but it doesn't really work that well to get things done.
I mean, I see what you're saying as far as just like a little thought that just popping into your head or whatever. I don't think you actually advocate for that, but like,
No, I'm just saying, but like like if okay, for the sake of
just a conversation,
Yeah. Each state has a governor who's just he's just in charge of the laws of that state.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's elected, or and then like every governor of every state will elect the monarch of the U.S. who's in charge of the military.
That would be a thing. I mean, I don't know. Like, do I think that would be good?
Yeah.
No. Because we already have almost that, but, well, I don't know. We have an electoral college, but I don't even know. It's not even exactly the same thing, but obviously. But, like, I don't know. I just think it should be more like, I don't know. If you're going to have it be, I don't know. Like, it depends. There's so many factors that it depends on. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, I think that I think that one of the main goals of the government should be to like just improve people's lives, and in order to do that, they have to get away from capitalism. Like, it's just.
Well, no, I feel like having like the single person. The thing is, I feel like accountability is important because what happens so often is that when something is wrong, or many things are wrong, the parties point the finger at each other and no one actually gets the blame fully and nothing gets done. But if you have one person who's in charge and does something that affects everybody negatively, it's obvious who did it.
Okay, there's something to that, I guess.
That's the reason
yeah.
why I'm saying
I see what
that,
you
'cause
mean.
like,
yeah.
Because if there's one person who's like in charge of pretty much all the things,
Yeah.
who has like the only say, if things, you know, people probably bring ideas or whatever, and then you know, if something goes terribly wrong, the people can easily be like, you are not good at this job, so we either need to kill you or get somebody else in here.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, what if they just are like, well, you know, I mean, look at Putin right now. Everyone knows who's at fault. They can't do anything to him. You know.
Okay, so there needs to be more. There needs to be more involved.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. If people keep protesting, and like the country keeps losing money, people will do stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that is true. I mean, that's.
I'm
true.
sure that there's a lot of powerful, wealthy people in Russia who are not happy with this choice.
Right. Yep. I think you're right.
So, you know.
Yep. But
you want to look at some propaganda?
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah. Let's just get to it, because now we're getting a little more. I don't even know where we're going with this, but it's just fun to talk about. That's really what it is. That's the takeaway, you know, just talking about stuff. That's it. All right. Okay. Let's see if I'm going to do the scene transition thing and see if this works.
Okay. Hopefully it does.
There we are. I'm a little more bright now, but hey, it's all good. Okay. So, yeah, here we are on Reddit, Ukraine. We got some tabs open that we just like pulled up real quick when we were going
Beautiful transition
through this. Yeah. I'm like blasted with light right now, but nothing I can do. It'll probably be jumping around. I can't really remember exactly what all these links are now because it's been a little bit.
Oh, let's just check out. I haven't looked at anything today, so I'm excited to.
Okay.
Take a peep at this.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. I don't know. What do we got here? Oh yeah. Okay. So first of all, I don't know. I just wanted to take a look at this here because this is the city. A lot of people like I don't know, like maybe not as many as I might have in my head, but I oftentimes like hear people like you said, like people are just like, oh, the Ukraine, like, you know, it's like, yeah. You know, and I'm not sure they necessarily think of it this way, but like it's kind of just viewed in a way where it's like, it's you know, it's like not really that real of a country. Like, I mean, it's not really developed, you know, but it like this is their capital here. Yeah, it's a real city, you know. I mean, real country with like real people living there. These people, you think, what do you think? These people are like, I wish I could be happy, but like, I need to go back to traditional Russian values. I just can't be satisfied until I do. You know, like what
all of them are saying that.
Yeah, like
which one?
I don't know. It's just mind blowing to me. Just, I mean, we're just jet skiing. We're just trying to jet ski.
Yeah.
Come on. I don't know. This is just a link on Reddit. I don't know. It's just crazy. This is what it's all about, not the ambitions of someone's imperialist ambitions. That's just insanity. Little nationalism here, but hey, you know, I mean,
nice.
It is what it is.
Is that a samurai?
Oh no, I think it's a Cossack.
Yes.
So yeah, but you know, well, I mean, hey, listen, I mean, I've never lived there or anything. It's a country that's been like oppressed for most of, well, I don't know for at least hundreds of years. You know, like so ridiculous. So I understand that that's a part of their history. You know, and you know. No judgment there.
No.
What's up?
Let's see the clip that you had too.
Which one? This thing here?
Yeah, this one.
Okay, here's a good example. This is I guess the opposition leader. I deduced that from reading the title, and apparently here he is talking to Russian citizens, being like, "Take a look at what's going on here." All right.
Okay.
Let's get that. Is this going to work full screen like this? Yeah, I think so, right? Let's hit play.
Путин не справляется, Путин завяз в Украине. И для того, чтобы справиться, он бросает туда все, что у него есть. Полицию, ОМОН, СОБРы и так далее. Каждый человек, который сейчас выходит на улицы российских городов, каждый человек, который выходит на протест, он отвлекает часть сил Путина от убийства украинских граждан. Ваши 15 суток стоят для того, чтобы не дать убить одного мирного человека. Если стоит, идите на улицу и посидите потом. Я отсидел 10 лет, больше 10 лет, отстаивая то, что я считал правильным. Если вы считаете правильным, чтобы не убивали граждан соседнего государства просто потому, что этому типчику это захотелось, противодействуйте ему. Сегодня выход на улицу – это противодействие убийству людей в Украине.
All right, I
Hey,
mean,
man, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know anything about this guy's policies, positions, or anything like that, but I completely agree with his message there. I mean, it's just.
Is he a politician or like a?
I mean, what I would gather is like, I mean, I'm just totally throwing this out there, so take this with a grain of salt. But like, I think he's like, you know, a person who like runs against Putin, but like, you know, they don't have fair elections, so it's like, you know.
Yeah.
So technically, I guess he's a politician. I get, you know what I mean, but.
It's so yeah. I want to learn more about the political landscape in Russia.
Yeah, but
I know that it's basically, you know, an autocracy.
Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, from the start, and you know, because this is just the way things go. Like the way that they can stop him is just massive amounts of people getting involved to
Yeah.
protest and just refuse to accept this. But I mean, you know, protesting. What does protesting mean? Does it always mean go out with a sign and stuff and just hope that he resigns? We will see, I guess.
Indeed. I mean, I remember when they had a lot of. I feel like Russia that has protests pretty often,
Really?
right? I remember like the big like push back in the day when there was a lot of like. I'm sure it still is like this, but anti-gay stuff,
Oh, okay.
stuff like that. I remember there's a lot of protests then, and I don't know. They're pretty stuffy over there, governmentally.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's wild. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that that's like, I don't know. I hope they're able to see that and people really get on board with it because people
This is just
the government of every country, for the most part, works really hard to convince people that they don't have power. And they do. But they don't
Yeah.
have it alone. They only have it together. And if, you know,
yeah.
if they all realize that, then that's
Yeah, this might be
big
this might
things
be
change.
this might be a new chapter in the Russian handbook.
I mean, I hope so. That would be better than what they got now and what
Could
they
you
do
imagine
to
that's
other places, apparently.
Putin's like vibe for, you know, real international power ends like the idea of what it even is to be Russian.
Wait, how would that be his? Why would
His unification of the Russian Empire actually is the downfall of Russian imperial sentiment.
Well, I mean, that would be by bad means, that would be a good result. I mean, you know, not a good
Yeah.
legacy, but like, you know, ironically, it would be, you know.
Yeah, if
to
he
be like-
loses power and then some Western-ish Russian takes it,
Yeah, well,
then what happens? Well, what do they even have in place to like prevent that from happening?
I don't know. What kind of backup government do they have going or something?
Yeah, like they're like oligarchy.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the details. I mean, basically, they just split up the Soviet Union into the various industries
Yeah,
were distributed to some guys, and They just
Yeah.
run the country now. But I don't know how much like central power they have outside Putin. Like, you know, like
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if someone with Western sentiment or whatever, just assassinated Putin and then took power, is that a thing that can happen there, or would?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. I guess if the military accepts them,
Ah, true.
you know,
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
like I don't know.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I really
Huh.
don't. And I'm not gonna, I'm not saying like Western sentiment is the greatest thing in the world or anything by any means. Like, there's a lot
No,
of
but
horrific stuff that happens all the time. But
yeah, but the majority of the cultural sentiment is pretty okay.
I guess, yeah. Well, okay, there are a lot of things that are, yeah, but
Yeah.
there's still a lot that should be fixed and
Oh yeah,
just
obviously.
eliminated. But like, it's better than arresting kids for going into for holding up a sign that says "No war."
I guess it depends on like where you stand on personal freedom.
Yeah. How? Yeah. I guess. I mean, well, but I mean, yeah, yeah.
Because Western sentiment around personal freedom is pretty good, even if it's a distraction from and maybe a push towards consumerism. But
Yeah, it's like personal freedom. As
It's-
long as you do all this, as long as you only do the stuff that we say is freedom. Like, you can't do some stuff if we deemed like that's not freedom. That's crossing the line. Like
well, no, what they do is like they say you're free to do whatever you want as long as it's by our products.
Yeah, exactly. And right, as long as it's dedicate your life to making money for us, and then spend that money on the things that we want you to buy. You don't
Yeah.
want it really, but we'll tell you want it, and then you will want it, and you'll actually
Yeah, but
live your life
the good thing
thinking, I want this, I need this.
Yeah. The good thing I think, well, I don't know. Maybe it's arbitrary at the end of the day, but like the freedom to like innovate culturally is good and have that be rewarded generally.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I'm
As
not
far
culturally
like
in a way.
philosophy and arts and music and
Yeah, well, I mean, even Russia has tons of that though, historically, and I don't know about what goes on there now. I don't follow it that much, but
yeah. The do you remember Pussy Riot?
oh my God, yeah. Well, I don't really even
that was like the
remember.
last Russian punk band that I've heard of.
Yeah, what ended up?
Most
Do you
recent,
remember what happened with that, or?
That was taking place during the time that I was talking about before with the like when things were protesting again.
Yeah,
Things were protesting again. Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah, because I mean, I don't really know the details of that much, to be honest.
You don't know what?
Like the details of that situation, I don't really know that
They
much
were,
about it,
like,
to be honest.
I'm pretty sure they were like anti-Putin.
And they were like
punk band.
arrested, right? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did like one protest in like a church, and they like played, and I think like two of them got arrested or something. They were like being held for a while. I'm not sure whatever happened with that.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I don't. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
in that way, yeah, of course.
But yeah, stuff like that, like a lot of the time, like culture is driving, kind of, and then like government and business is reacting to it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So it's nice that we at least have that though. We have the ability
That's
to like
true.
drive, generally,
Yeah.
even if it's like maybe counterproductive.
And even like there'll be a lot of like pathetic stuff that goes along with it, but yeah, there is at least, if you're lucky enough to be born in one of the countries that they actually respect and they don't oppress,
Mhm.
Western countries, like, I'll just say America, will actually be like, okay, everybody has a problem, at this point, everybody is like supporting gay marriage, you know what I mean? Like, so I guess we
Yeah.
gotta flip flop and actually be like, no, I've always supported it. What are you talking about? I've always
Yeah.
supported it. And then,
Exactly.
we gotta have the company, we gotta have Amazon as they like oppress massive amounts of people. Let's have them like put up a little pride flag for like a couple days and then that
Yeah.
makes them good now or something like that.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right? That makes them good all of a sudden. Yeah. So
They're good now. Yeah.
it's pathetic, but
I
like
think-
at least, yeah, there is some correlation between like public, you know, like demands, I guess you could say, or like like just general sentiment of like the public, and what ends up happening. It just takes like years and years and years, and even then, most of it doesn't even happen. But at least sometimes it does, I guess. You know,
Yeah. True.
like
It wasn't an easy fight.
yeah.
You're right.
And then people like even with that, it's like, and it just takes so long because through like, you know, capitalism and stuff, it's like money equals power, and people with money can buy more influence, and they can convince people that it's actually bad if you can go to the doctor whenever you need to and not get charged for it. That would be a bad thing. And
Yeah.
I can't tell you exactly why, but you gotta just it would just be bad for the country. It would just be bad. How are you gonna pay for it? Oh well, it would come out of your taxes instead of out of your paycheck, and instead of paying your money every time you get a paycheck, instead of paying it to a health insurance company, that money would just come out of your taxes and then just go and pay for it. And it's like, yeah, but I like my doctor. Oh, yeah, well, the government screws everything up. Oh, well, it's like, you know, like, okay, well, what kind of argument is that? You know what I mean? What would make you think you can't go to your doctor? If they do this as a national thing, what your doctor's going to just be like, no, I don't accept it. I only accept this health insurance company that's now out of business. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, they'll be like, why would anyone want to be a doctor then if they're not even going to get paid as much? It's like, who said they're not going to get paid as much? It's like, it's not like you're... Do you understand that, like, your health insurance company doesn't, like... Your boss is... Your doctor, his boss is not Blue Cross Blue Shield or Empire in health insurance. His boss is not that.
Sure about that?
Yeah, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. But, you know, that's just one of the many examples. But it's actually
Yeah.
also bad. Because also, you got to realize, if you pay someone more money, the cost of a cheeseburger is going to go up, and then you're going to have to pay more for the cheeseburger. So trust me when I tell you, it's better for everyone if we all just make less money. It's common sense. Because then they're going to have to raise the price of the cheeseburger. So, you know, it's your choice. Like, I don't know. Sorry.
Oh
I
my
just get annoyed by
God.
this stuff, obviously. All right, you want to look at some more pics and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Or
I
if
want to see
it's-
that. I want to see the Ramzan.
Okay. All right. So
My boy.
let's do a little history lesson here. First of all, here's Chechnya, after Russia relentlessly waged war on them. This is apparently in 2000. Here's
Oh,
what
yeah.
happened there. Mass murder of civilians and all this. Totally destroyed their country.
Uh-huh.
And but you gotta understand though, like, so black is a cool color, and like, you know, like it is, and like beards are manly. So let's take a look at this. There's no subtitles or anything, so we'll just watch a couple seconds of it.
Okay.
The channel, I mean the title here says that this guy's going to be saying they impose sanctions on us. If they keep acting that way, we will take the whole Europe and will rule the Europe in the future.
Wow.
Okay, so get ready for that, because I mean, that sounds scary. I guess they're going
Chechnya.
to do that. I guess they're doing that
Весь
soon.
мир встал дон
This
против
guy.
нашего государства и
Okay.
заявляют, объявляют
Yeah.
всякие санкции.
I mean, I don't know what else to
Пусть
say. It's
объявляют
just
санкции.
I
Если
said
они так
sanctions.
будут вести
Yeah,
себя,
no, I
то
know.
Европейское государство это даже
Wait, hold on. I want to see
не
this.
столько территорий у них, сколько у нас регионов Российской Федерации. Заберем и Европу, дон, и в последующем будем править и Европой, дон. Аллаху Акбар!
I don't know. I mean, I guess.
They're Muslim in Chechnya?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, well, I guess okay. So maybe he doesn't have the beard just because he's trying to look tough. Maybe it's a religious thing. Sorry for saying that. I just,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. But like,
Beards are considered manly, though. You're right about that.
yeah, and black is a cool color. It's tough.
Black is
it's
definitely a good color.
badass. It's intimidating.
Oh, are they like Are they a little jihadi?
Oh, I don't know. I
Oh, okay.
I really don't. I just know that from what I have heard, this part of their military is very like I don't know. Supposedly they have like
Extremist
a
militant.
reputation for being like yeah, like very ruthless in their combat and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Well, there's not that many of them standing there.
yeah, I mean I don't know the exact numbers, but like
That would be wild, though. I mean, if these people get a little carried away,
and
things can go
they
very,
just take
very
over.
poorly.
Well, yeah, it would go really
No,
poorly
I don't-
for Europe because they're going to take over. You know, he said it, so like he said it.
Well, true. Since he said it, it probably will happen that way. But if he, like, let's say maybe he fails.
That's not going to happen. He didn't say he was going to fail, so why would he? You know what I mean? He told them that they wouldn't. No, wait, what do you mean? If he fails, what?
Well, just like.
Oh, you mean if he like they get carried away and they like attack a NATO-aligned country or something?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know.
Like this could. I mean, the slippery slope that we have towards a World War III is getting slipperier by the moment.
Yeah, it's not a comfortable.
It just depends on because these types of people seem to have like a lot of pride, and it seems like people with a lot of pride are difficult to dissuade.
Yeah, right. Just I mean, well, because okay, so it's a guy, him from the little bit that I know about him, like from what I've read in the past couple days and stuff like that, which hasn't
But
been a
the
lot.
Ramzan guy.
Yeah, which has not been a lot, but especially and then add on top of that like Putin and like from Belarus, Lukashenko, like they are not. They're not like. There's no bit of like. We have to like. We're victims here, and now we're going to like. Make sure that we defend ourselves, or like we're doing this. Even America, at least, was like. We got to go liberate those people over in Afghanistan and stuff. Even though, like. Whatever. Like we gotta liberate a bunch of different countries in the Middle East right next to each other, even though because of 9/11, I guess, because it's like
Yeah.
oh well, because all three countries must have done it at the same time and stuff, and they totally like got their governments. You know what I mean? But they're they go around and they act like we need to be there for 20 years because we got to liberate those oil fields. Oops, I mean the people. And it's like,
Yeah.
what they literally, remember towards the end of when they were pulling out, they were saying like, no, we can't pull out because if we pull out, women are going to be more oppressed here. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's true. I mean, but like, at the end of the day, it's like you're just illegally occupying a country. Like, you know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, and not being welcomed. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Like, if you really wanted to help so bad, why do you need to like constantly have like do drone strikes? Oh, because they need to kill the terrorists and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know. Like, why not just change up the strategy, especially after decades of it not working? And instead be like, we're going to offer aid to the true aid. Like, we're going to, like, invest in this country. And I don't mean, like, make a financial investment. I mean, because they did. They made a financial investment in the weapons manufacturers. The American weapon manufacturers totally invested in it, But, like,
Yeah.
But instead, just be like, we want to see this country become prosperous and stuff. And we're going to, like, do everything we can to help with that. Not like, oh, we're going to destroy it and then just basically make them dependent on us, and then we'll just basically take over those oil fields and wow, this is ours now. Like, can you just do anything that is actually just good, that like comes from a point of just like, I'm just doing this because it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like this is a good way for us to secure military bases in Asia. Like. And like get better relations with oil, make it easier for us to get oil at a cheap price, like.
Yeah.
So now instead they'll just help out Saudi Arabia while they do a genocide real quick, and we'll just be like, what? No, that's not happening. Wait, did you hear that? I don't know, like Trump tweeted something funny. Oh my God, let's focus on that. Oh wait, did you hear that they're actually trying to teach critical race theory? Oh, it's like this crazy thing. Like, trust me, just trust me. Don't ask what it is. It's just crazy. And everyone's doing it. It's so weird because you've never heard of it before, and you've never heard your kids talk about it before. But I'm telling you that everyone's teaching it. You know.
Yeah. Oh God, distractions.
Yeah. I don't know.
We're all just being maneuvered around.
Oh yeah.
We're maneuvering ourselves around as well.
We are, in a way. No, we literally are. No. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like now's a weird time. I don't know, you know. Now, I understand that now is like a weird time to be like talking about like America is like so bad in this way when there's way more serious stuff going on right now, you know. I'm not the victim here, you know what I mean? It's like, we all are, but like, the focus isn't on us right now, you know what I mean? But like, it's like, I don't know. Like, oh, and like, so speaking of America, did we say this right before we started, or I don't know if I said this while we were recording it yet, but like, I'm not saying like, okay, it's difficult, but like, I just, the State of the Union thing was last night.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And watching that was just, I don't know. I really wonder, does anyone watch that and think like, oh, this makes me so proud. I'm so happy about this.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
Right? Like, they went up there and said, we are going to restrict Russian air travel in the United States. It's like, what? You know,
they can't fly over the United States anymore.
Right, and then they give him a standing ovation. I'm like, they give him like 10 standing ovations in the first like 5 minutes. I'm like,
the whole time.
This is a high school pep rally. That's what this is. It's for the people to get together and be like, yeah, little standing ovation, like talking about Joe Biden's talking about, oh, these Ukrainian citizens are laying themselves down in front of tanks. This is the heroic behavior that we should all be inspired by. And like Nancy Pelosi's in the background, like smiling, like as if this is like some beautiful thing. Like, this isn't like a fairy tale that some guy's writing. Like, it's like, did you know? It's not the fucking guy like talking, you know, the movie 300. It's like 300 Spartans defended against the blah blah blah, and they all died in the process, but they sacrificed them. It's like, whoa, cool. No, it's like, they're not doing it because they're like, I want to be an action hero. They're doing it because they're like, they think their entire like their lives as they know it are going to be completely destroyed, and they will be. I mean, I hope not, but like, they will be if they succeed. And even if they do, even if the Russians do, even if Putin does succeed, I don't know how much, you know, what he's going to do. I don't know. I'm not going to say their lives are destroyed. I mean, I don't know, but I hope he doesn't. Don't get me wrong, obviously. But like, I don't know. It's just like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, I mean, I don't know what I expected, but like, it's just, and they're talking about like Zelensky, like he's like this like fictional character, like he's like, that's the true spirit of freedom. It's like, why? Because you said so? Like, it's not about, you think he wants to hear some 80-year-old man talk about the spirit of freedom while they're like, his people are being murdered, you know what I mean? And like, they're threatening to kill him and stuff like that, and his family. Like, it doesn't matter what you say, and then have these people just give a standing ovation to show like, I was there. Do you see me, guys? I'm clapping. Like, just, oh my God, just I can't stand that. Like, and I'm not saying that the U.S. can go over and like send troops and stuff. I understand that it's more complicated than that, but I'm just saying, like,
do you think if they did, like, if the U.S. got militarily involved, do you think Russia would go straight to nuclear war?
I mean, I just don't know. I mean,
because I mean, do you think like it's, you know, whoever pulls the trigger it's like it's everyone's gonna be like, oh, it's on you. You ended the world, not us.
Yeah, I guess.
And like and, you know, so but like, I don't know even if Putin is that nihilistic.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, up until fairly
'Cause
recently,
he 100% knows that if he launches a nuclear strike anywhere, that he's going to receive a nuclear strike.
you would think, yeah, you would think he's aware of that. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Like, if Russia gets like crushed to the point of like, whatever, the U.S. military and like, whatever, some other European military gets involved directly, Poland or something, and like just crushes their military and like is like going to Moscow to like put him in front of a war criminal trial. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a war crimes trial. It's like at that point, like, what is he gonna do? Like, I don't know. I do think like because that would be like in a way. I mean, it probably wouldn't. I don't know. Basically, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to figure it out as I'm saying it. But it's like,
Do you think if? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No,
you.
no, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think that if that happened, if NATO got involved, along with the U.S. and everything, and they walked into Moscow to put Putin under arrest, do you think that the people of Russia would be more in favor or not in favor of that happening?
well, I mean, yeah, right. I like probably not in favor of it. I don't know because at that point they're being
That's what I
invaded by a
wanted- that's-
completely foreign country. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what I would. My knee-jerk response would be, but
yeah, you know what? I don't know. Because yeah, maybe
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just don't know because the way what I've come to realize over time is like there's a lot more to like the way people see things, like based on like their background and like
yeah.
and like I always kind of thought of Russia as just like it's kind of like it's part of Europe, but it's just different. Like it's a little different, but just like mostly the same. It's kind of just like Poland, probably. Like it's like really similar to that, or like, like I'm sure like Greece and like Russia are like fair. They probably have a lot of similarities, like in like their approach to things and things like that. But like over time, I've come to realize like it doesn't seem to be that way, And it's like
Yeah, when you think about it, it's like its own little, like, continent.
it is kind of right. Like, would you
It's
consider like
not, but
Russians
it
to be
is,
like, I'm Asian? No, like they're their own thing,
Yeah.
kind of. You know what I mean? Because they're also not
Yeah.
really European as far as they see it. I'm saying, like, I don't think they.
Yeah.
I don't think they do. And when I
They're
say
not.
they,
I mean,
I realize I'm
culturally.
generalizing. But what I mean is like
Yeah.
leadership, or like even people who have a strong opinion about the culture and stuff like that, who do live there. And I could be
Yeah.
wrong about a lot of this, but I'm just saying, like.
No,
From
it
what I
definitely seems
gather.
like there's like, it's like, yeah, it definitely seems like there's a difference.
Yeah. And that's why, like, when Zelensky keeps saying, like, we are European, like, we want to be this, like, that's like, that's like basically saying, like, we are not part of that Russian world, like,
Yeah.
and they would be, I'm sure, like, you know what I mean? It's like, but they've just been abused. They're in an abusive relationship with Russia, basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the big, strong man kept thinking, oh, she'll never leave me. I'll just slap her around a little more. And then one day, it's just not, it's the last straw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, they just got rid of
Quite
their
bad.
old president, who was, like, Putin's, little servant, basically, and said, we want to have, like, our own freedom, basically. And they actually, like, did it, for whatever that's worth, I'm sure it's not like it's you go from one thing to another when you're like not that rich of a country, like you got to kind of depend on other people, and they were there first, so like they have first dibs on everything, so you got to make sure they agree that you're allowed in to the club and stuff, like
Yeah.
it's complicated, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like I don't know. Like it's like you can't just I just can't find any way to accept the idea of just like they're just people living their lives and now there's bombs dropping in their on
Yeah,
their
I know,
streets.
right?
That's it. Like there's nothing okay about that. It doesn't matter what you think you're entitled to or what you think you're preserving or anything. Like, you just can never do that. And if they're doing that now, which they obviously are, what do you fucking blame them for wanting to distance themselves from you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when you just decide on a whim, like, oh, I'm taking back part of your land now. Oh, but it's our land, and we own it because you're not even a real country. We just let you pretend to exist. It's like, well, it's like, I'm just saying, like, imagine being a person there. It's like, well, I do exist. You know what I mean? What do you mean you pretend? Like, this isn't about, oh, well, like I said, I don't know. I'm kind of just saying the same stuff over and over a little bit. But, like I said, you see those people going around in Kyiv just, like, living their lives. You think they're actually, like, if only we were speaking Russian here instead of Ukrainian, and if only we were, like, in that Russian sphere of influence. Oh, I'm so pissed off that, like, we're doing trade with, like, European countries. Like, like, no one's thinking that. No one. Like, I don't know.
Some people.
I guess.
Maybe a few.
Right, but it's not. It's like me going. It's like those people are like, idiots like me who go around and are like, it's a beautiful day and everything's great, but it would be so much better if capitalism was collapsing. No, I'm exaggerating, but, like, I don't actually think of everything like that. Far from it, but, like, it's,
What happens if World War III happens and then the communists win?
Who are the communists?
China.
Yeah, no, they're not. It's like,
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I wish I could just, like, pause time. I don't know. I wish I could, like, just. I mean, this is like. I guess I could just, like. I wish I could just, like, pause time and then just, like, on fast forward, like, hyper fast forward. I wish I could just download the thoughts of, like, the Chinese government and see, like, what is the real goal here? Like, what are we really doing? Like, how does, like, getting extremely involved in, like, world trade and, like, accepting US dollars and, like, all the stuff that they do, like, what does that have to do with communism? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? I guess they want to just gain as much power as humanly possible and as much strength as humanly possible so that eventually they can, like, spread communism, like, through imperialism, I guess, or, socialism through imperialism and then reach communism. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, when we talk about, like, what are we going for here? I feel like China says, like order is the only thing we're going for here.
Yeah, I just find it so bizarre because even with, like, Soviet Union, like, I get it to an extent, but, like, trying to reach communism or whatever, like, it just seems so antithetical to, like, control and, like, limiting people's individual freedoms and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like it's the opposite of that. It's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah. I get it because, like, I guess in their minds, like, they're, like, viewing it as, like, they're like, everything is, like, a fight against, like, Western capitalist influence. You know what I mean? Like, so they have to, like, keep people in control. Otherwise, they're going to be too drawn in by, like, the constant advertising of the West and stuff like that to be like, this will actually make you happy. This is cool because we made a movie, and in this movie the guy was wearing this and he was cool. So, like, in order to be cool, you have to have it. And then if you don't have it, then people are going to start to bully you and stuff, and they don't want that. It's, I guess.
Yeah,
but
it's interesting because really, it is that.
Yeah.
Because.
Well, I don't know that much about China, but I'm just saying that's definitely what they were thinking in the USSR.
Yeah. No, I think it's very similar with China too. They're like, you can't, like, dress pretty or like that. It's like all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I just watched a thing recently about it, but yeah, no, like the
controlling
totally.
Socialism to communism, social control and stuff. I don't know.
So that's the oh yes, okay. What yeah, it's like the West seems to be like it presses individuality so hard because it sells,
Yeah.
you know, and then because I don't know, is it more human to want to be an individualist, and then what is individuality if it's not like what kind of clothes you buy? Because what kind of clothes you buy don't exist. You know, it's like this weird like abstract game between the capitalist mentality and the communist mentality,
Yeah. And it's just
and it's
hard when the world is controlled by capitalism and then an individual nation wants to do socialism. You know what I mean? Like, it is hard because, yeah, like, what's cooler? What's more, like, sexy and, like, cool for, like, a young person? Being, like, putting in a hard day's work at the steel factory or, the steel thing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
and, like, coming home and, like, taking care of your family and just feeling like I'm doing a good thing for my neighbors and my fellow people. I'm benefiting humanity, and that makes me feel enough satisfaction. When you could just get the cheap thrill of just like driving in a convertible. Well, this is a very old attitude of it, but like
Yeah.
driving in a convertible with like the sunglasses on, with the slick back hair, wearing like cool jeans, and like listening to rock and roll with like a blonde girl in this passenger seat, and she's just like taking a picture. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like that's like, oh yeah, that's beautiful. But it's like, that is just, I don't know how much of that is just because we see it in movies and we see it in music videos and we see it in posters and commercials, and like, what is that really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like,
I know, right?
and
It's tough.
like, I feel like there's got to be like some kind of,
It's kind of Pandora's boxy a little bit.
how so?
It's like since capitalism has let that idea out of the box,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to put it back. Like, you can't make it not cool now.
Yeah, why can't they do something where it's like, yeah. Well, okay, well, here's another thing. I was going to say, why can't they do something where it's like, oh, well, here's the thing. So, I was going to say, oh, this is actually interesting. Okay. I was going to say, why can't they do something where, like, I'll just use Soviet Union as the example. Why couldn't they just do something where it's like, no, like, whatever, just have, like, a fashion industry and or whatever, and just be like, this is an official thing that we like fund, and like we want you to come up with stuff that's cool. Like, make us look like, make it so that people get enthusiastic about wanting to participate in this. Don't not just like, oh, Alex is wearing leather shoes and they don't squeak, so those are better than the ones that I have that are squeaking. Like they have a better fundamental. They have a better manufacturing problem. You know what I mean? They're made with better
Yeah.
materials. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that that's exactly what it was, but I'm just saying, like, there was a lot of stuff that they weren't allowed to do. Like, they weren't like allowed to like really listen to certain music and stuff or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, why not be like? I was gonna say, why not make something where it's like, just have creative people make cool stuff and be like, we're proud of this, of our like art scene, and like, in that sense, you know what I mean? Like, we have a cool
Yeah.
culture that we're building that's like really cool and stuff. But what I've come to realize, as I was gonna say that, I'm like, well, it's because what's cool is not just like something is inherently cool. It's like, it's what like people decide is gonna be cool now. You know what I mean? Like, if people
Yeah.
just decided like, I don't think it's like,
Well, that's the problem with communism, is that like if you open that door to like culture, I feel like it becomes obvious very quickly that like whatever power games you're playing are being played, and then people can talk about it and usually not like it, I guess.
what, as far as like having like a,
Well, I think the reason why communist governments use so much control over their people is because they seem to know that if the people were aware of what was going on, they would be unhappy about it.
well,
Right? Isn't that kind of implicit in like the control? Like, because
maybe,
like
but-
there's a difference between making like wearing jeans not cool and then versus telling people not to talk about them and
Yeah.
not wear them. You don't think about them. You can't think about it.
Yeah,
Don't think about that.
I just
You know, it's very, very different.
yeah, of course. I just don't. What I don't get is why it can't be like. Okay, instead of that, just. Well, I think they did do this, to be honest. Like, I don't know. You know, I think another part of it is just it's really hard because anytime those countries do anything like that, anytime there is like a revolutionary government that goes towards like socialism or you know tries to do it, they are like at war like the whole time, or they have to like do so much just to like get by, and the rest of the world that's already established, you're a revolutionary government that just started. You have to like pick up the pieces and like put it all back together real quick before people get fed up and they reject you. And the rest of the world is already going to put all their weight on you to try to make you fail. You know what I mean? Like, look at like Vietnam. You know, like that war happened because people were like, oh, I don't want, because Western countries were like, we don't want communism to spread to another country. We don't want it to gain more influence. So we'll try to just kill everybody who wants to do it. Okay, like, and then people are like, see, look at it. They're not as advanced as the USA is. It's like, well, no one killed like a big chunk of your population. You know what I mean? And no one is like setting up. No one's sanctioning you like that. No one is like, you know, or like Cuba. Like, no, there's not a blockade around you for a long ass time, and like definitely economic blockade. You know, if you want to call it that. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's absurd that the U.S. government will cripple Cuba's economy and not allow them to receive car imports, and then make fun of them and be like, look how bad socialism is. They drive cars from like way back then. It's like, yeah, because you make it so that they can't get cars. You know what I mean? Like, and you refuse to like allow countries to do business with them and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, if you just let it be, and if it's better, then just go with then be like, oh, we can learn from that. Like, it's, but no, because what are you so afraid of? Why do you need to see them fail so badly? Why?
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? If it's so bad, just let them fail on their own.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a lot different if they didn't have that and they could just play on the same field as everybody else and just see how it works with an economy that is based around needs and, you know, like what they're capable of doing, and make sure that people's needs are met and focus on that and do that. Because, but I think they're afraid that people might actually see like, maybe the entire point of life isn't to work to produce and then spend money to purchase like little plastic toys all the time that I don't really I didn't even know about until recently, and now I just bought it. I don't know. I don't know. We're at like over 2 hours, I guess. You want to wrap up soon, or what are you thinking?
Yeah. I guess we'll wrap it up. I don't want to run it too long.
Yeah. Okay. Because I don't know. Now we're in the territory. Like I always say this when we talk about like something a little more specific than just like random banter. We knew we were gonna like bring up Ukraine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I always feel like a little like, oh man, I'm not like, I haven't been thinking about this that much until recently. You know what I mean? I didn't really.
Yeah.
I wasn't just following Ukrainian politics like for the past couple of years or anything. But then once we get on the tangents of stuff that I do think about a lot, I feel like I get carried away and I don't shut up. So yeah, best to stop now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you have anything else to say, or you just good?
Best of luck to the Ukrainian people staying alive out there.
Absolutely, seriously, and if somehow, I don't know. I just hope it goes well.
I'm just hoping for the best. Yeah, that's all I could really say.
I just hope that they're all right and something.
Trying to stay optimistic.
I hope that somehow, some way, Putin stops. He just stops.
Yeah.
Whatever that may entail. Living, attacking, no. Well, you know what I mean. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So thanks for checking it out. Anyone who watches this, we will see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
This is the Pinemen.